Building collapses in Kubwa, Abuja, and federal government approves $21 million for metering flow stations in the country. These and more on Panorama today from Abuja. My name is Justin Bemunyi. A section of a two-story building situated around Sultan Dasuki Way, Kubwa, Abuja has collapsed. Federal and FCT fire services, NEMA, as well as FEMA officials are carrying out evacuation and rescue operations at the site in the 22 axis of Kubwa, Abuja. Reports indicate that 2 persons have been rescued while a resident is believed to be trapped. A section of the two-story building was formerly a hotel and later became a hospital and now a residential apartment. The incident occurred at about 7 o'clock this morning.
7, that was when we had that rumbling sound. So I thought it was from my next compound. Only for me to rush out. Only for me to rush out, and I heard, commotion, and all. So I went to the front and saw that the building had collapsed. So coming to my backyard, this is the back of my house, so everything had already come down. So they've been trying to rescue people. They've rescued some people. So they called FEMA. FEMA, they are around. Fire service are also out. So they've rescued some people. They are still trying to rescue more people. There's some people still trapped inside. So they are still trying to do the rescue right now. About 4 people have been rescued. So some are still inside. Because you can hear sounds, people shout and all.
What happened yesterday? A man who is living in that building left there yesterday saying he noticed a crack yesterday. So he left with his family. So 5 a.m. this morning, some people that are living there say the building started shifting. You understand? Started shifting. So some of them left and they tried to notify others who are living there. So those ones, they knocked at their door where they were knocking. Those ones didn't answer them, so that they are inside. Some of them left before the building collapsed, and some are still inside. And some are still inside. 7 a.m. this morning is actually the time that this incident happened.
Now let's join our correspondent Onotu Yakubu live at the site of the building collapse.
All right. Good morning. This it is actually a very pathetic situation here. The collapsed building happened at early hours of this morning. In fact, precisely at between 6 a.m. to 6:30. From the information we've been able to gather, the structure over the course of time had been undergoing restructuring to suit business ideas for the owner of the facility. Initially, it started as a hotel facility, later to a hospital, and then now a residential apartment for majorly occupied by core members who are serving in the FCT. So far, so good. A part of the building, a wing of the building came down, and as at the time the unfortunate incident happened, it was confirmed that 4 or 5 persons were trapped underneath the rubble of the structure. 4 have been rescued so far. In fact, the last victim that was rescued by the search and rescue operatives was barely 30-40 minutes ago, and then rushed to the hospital for medical attention. But there is no authority to confirm that there is still an individual trapped under the rubble. But the search and rescue organizations, the security, fire service, the FCT Emergency Management Department, and the NEMA are all here. And what they have done is to continuously, dig the underbelly of the rubble to ensure and ascertain that nobody is trapped under the structure. So far, so good. 4 have been rescued and all alive.
Okay, thank you so much, Onotu Yakubu, for that update, and we hope the rescue operation goes successful as planned. And now moving on, an update from Jos says the St. Academy building collapse has 154 people trapped, 132 rescued, and 22 deaths recorded. This is the update from the Plateau State Police Command. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu receives the news of the tragic collapse of a school building which resulted in multiple deaths and many surviving victims in Jos, Plateau State, with profound grief. President Tinubu describes the unfortunate incident as a huge loss to the nation as well as a devastating development as he condoles with the bereaved families, people and government of Plateau State. The President commends emergency responders, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, security agencies and all citizens involved in the search, rescue and resuscitation efforts. The President assures the people of Plateau State of his fervent support at this difficult time. Meanwhile, the President also condoles with the late Imam's community services and moral leadership will long be remembered. The President prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased cleric and extend his condolences to the Muslim community, the people and government of Plateau State. Now we join Benin Network Center to continue with Panorama after this break.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
We're now handing you over to Benin Network Center for the continuation of Panorama.
Yes, this is Benin Network Center reaching you on Panorama. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokpobiri, says the federal government has approved $21 million for the meeting of the 187 flow stations in the country. The minister made this known while briefing energy correspondent in Abuja. Lydia Sampson has the details.
Petrol flow stations, also known as fuel depots or terminals, are facilities that store and distribute petroleum products such as gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel to retailers, commercial customers, and consumers. These stations play a crucial role in the downstream oil and gas industry, ensuring the smooth flow of petroleum products to end users. Metering and measuring systems remain crucial for tracking inventory and flow rates. These, the minister said, will also deepen transparency and accountability.
So it is better we go what other countries do, bring technology. It is only somebody, a government that is transparent, that will be introducing technology. Once you eliminate the human element by bringing technology, all these questions will be answered, seamlessly. So I want to assure you that government is taking very proactive steps, starting with the metering of the 187 flow stations across the Niger Delta.
He's optimistic that the initiative by the federal government will provide clarity in the supply complexity and go a long way towards sanitizing the downstream petroleum sector. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Local government financial autonomy, if properly implemented, will help fast-track socio-economic development and delivering dividends of democracy to the people at the grassroots. Some analysts in Edo State expressed this view while speaking on the Supreme Court judgment affirming financial autonomy to local government areas in the country. Jude Abugo has the details.
Local government autonomy controversy dates back to 1976 local government reforms. Further, the 1979 Constitution also made provisions for joint local government accounts. This was intended to ensure the development of rural areas through effective supervision of the distribution and efficient management of local government revenues. It was abolished in 1989 by Ibrahim Babangida's military administration, but reintroduced in the 1999 Constitution following the return to democracy. However, the wrong implementation by state governors over the years led to clamor for local government autonomy.
The joint account didn't say the local government and the state government should operate one account. It simply say all the local government councils in that particular state put their allocation into one account to enable the state government pay the 10% of the internally generated revenue into that account. Then you now send to them to the various local government.
The executive order introduced by Buhari's administration to enforce local government financial autonomy was challenged by the state governors. This culminated in a suit filed by the Attorney General of the Federation, which was decided on Thursday, 11 July.
The local government autonomy that was being declared yesterday has sent a signal that the local, which is the politics, will now go to the people.
It is an operationalization of the intention of the Constitution that has recognized the local government as a tier of government and to function democratically, just like the other two tiers of government.
Some respondents, however, expressed concern that issues may arise with full implementation of the financial autonomy.
As Commissioner for Local Government in Edo State, no local government in Edo State can pay salary without federal allocation. So therefore, if federal allocation has to come late, which means pensioners will now go back to the streets. Teachers will go on strike every day. Because what we do in Edo is that if you are a teacher in Oredo, you are a teacher in Ipobaha, you are a teacher in Akoko Edo, they put funds together to ensure that teachers are paid.
They should be held responsible. There should be a committee to monitor this allocation given to each local government. It must be monitored from the beginning to the end to make sure the money will not be diverted for other things.
All eyes, they say, should now be on the state governors to ensure compliance with the Supreme Court judgment. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Yes, that report forms a background for discussion on Panorama, the imperative of financial autonomy for local government. And to further expand the discourse, I have in the studios with me an economic analyst and former non-executive director, CBN, and also former member, CBN Monetary Policy Committee, Professor Mike Obadan. Prof, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are talking about financial autonomy for local government. I begin by asking, does it really free the local government from any kind of control? What are the limits?
Well, let me say that yes, to a very large extent. And in theory, the autonomy granted the local governments financially through the Supreme Court judgment should largely, free the local governments from the financial muzzle, financial muzzling, financial handicaps that the local governments in most states had experienced for a long time. Because the Constitution provided for a special relationship between the state government and the local governments through the establishment of state joint local government account, into which all funds accruing to local governments from the federation account should be paid, and also monies from the state government going to local government should be paid. But over time, it's been alleged continuously that local governments did not have the benefits of their funds lodged into that joint account because state governments tended to divert them. But now, the financial autonomy granted would allow the funds accruing to them from the federation account to be paid directly to the local governments. So to that extent, it's most likely that the local governments will have the benefits of the funds that accrue to them, which the citizens expect them to deploy for the implementation of the various functions, very robust functions, which local governments are expected to perform as prescribed in the 4th schedule of the National Constitution, 1999, as amended. So invariably, they should now be in a good position if the integrity and honesty is there to deploy the funds and enable the people to enjoy the benefits of local governance.
Yes, Prof. One might observe that the new financial autonomy granted local government, it's an attack on federalism, and like it limits on federalism. On that it limits the power of the governors to manage their jurisdiction, which the local government is part and parcel. What's your response to this, sir?
No, I don't think it's an attack on federalism or true federalism. Rather, it will strengthen true federalism in Nigeria. The Nigerian Constitution, section 162, subsection 4, subsection 3, recognizes the local government as a third tier of government. Federal government, states, and local governments. And yes, the local governments exist within the areas superintended by state governments, but they are in a position to actually impact positively and maximally on the Nigerian people in their various areas. So I don't think it's an attack on federalism. The extant provisions of the Constitution, were there in good faith. The expectation that state governments would behave well, would actually, take a part of the state funds, add to what the federal government, what is gotten from the federation account, give to the local governments to develop their areas, while the state government superintend and ensure accountability. But rather, that has not happened. So I don't think it's an affront on true federalism. But there will still be, there should still be channels or mechanisms for fostering the relationship between the state government and the local government. And there is provision already in the Constitution. The 4th schedule of the Constitution, which outlines the functions of the local government, has the establishment of the state, planning commission or similar bodies, which can still be used to coordinate affairs between the state government and the local governments.
Yes, some people say that it's not just about these powers being taken from governors to control local government, like that in the nearest future that new masters may come up to exercise the control, and that true federalism can be achieved if the Independent National Electoral Commission conducts local government election.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about this?
No, I strongly subscribe to that one. The state electoral commissions, as of today, have been under the strict control of the state governors. And that is the reason why, integrity has been lacking in the activities of such commissions. And state governments, by all means, want to control the local government, their own political parties. And that's why in most states that conduct local government elections, you find that the party in power wins all the seats and everything concerning local government. So, if the National Electoral Commission comes in to conduct elections, perhaps there will be more, acceptability of the results or outcomes, and then there will be more integrity. That one will even foster or broaden the democratic process.
Can we say that, finally, Prof, that can we commend the President for reinforcing plural democracy at the grassroots when we're looking at the entire judgment that has come up?
Yes, against the backdrop of the bad behavior of state governments in relation to the local governments in the past, and for financially muzzling them, what the President has done and the National Assembly is highly commendable. It's highly commendable, but there must still be mechanism to strengthen the relationship between the state government and the local governments, because we cannot say that the local governments are now independent and they're operating in silos or in cocoons. Otherwise there will be no state government.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Professor Michael Bowden, economic analyst and former member CBN Monetary Policy Committee. Thank you, Professor, for coming to the studio to share your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My
great pleasure.
And we now go over to sports with Peter Oyibo.
It's not made for killing, but it's made for fighting oppression.
Meanwhile, a 42-year-old suspected human trafficker identified.
With the Euro 2024 set to conclude Sunday in Berlin, Spain will take on England at the Olympia Stadium, for who will emerge victorious on Sunday. The thought of many football fans across the globe is who becomes the champion of Euro 2024. However, England produced their best performance of the tournament after their 90-minute semi-final victory against Netherlands. Could this determine their first major trophy in 58 years? Well, Spain, being the best team at the tournament, winning all 6 matches and scoring 13 goals at the championship, is also set for the title. Meanwhile, Nigeria international Wilfred Ndidi has expressed his excitement over a new deal with the English Premier League club Leicester City. Ndidi on Friday announced a 3-year contract extension. The midfielder made 273 appearances and scored 17 goals for the club since his arrival in 2017. Away from that, Nigerian's under-18 women's handball coach Shitu Agbola has invited 18 players ahead of the IHF Women Under-18 World Cup in China. The invited players include Captain Esther Matthew and Taiwo Babatunde, alongside Samuel Precious, Igbenedion Blessing, Mohamed Amina, among others. Nigeria is one of the 4 countries that will represent Africa in the World Cup after they qualify for the first time at the African Women's Under-18 Handball Nations Cup held in Tunisia last year. The Handball World Championship holds from August 14th to 25th, 2024 in China. Finally, Novak Djokovic outclassed Italian underdog Lorenzo Musetin at a Wimbledon with a 6-4, 7-6, 7-4 victory on center court. With sports update, Peter Oyibo, NTA News.
And that's it on Panorama. Thank you so very much for being part of it. Enjoy the rest of your day.